This week,
there isn't going to be a review.
Sorry?
What? No review.
instead, let's do a fun ranking of the most powerful objects in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I took 15, cut them down to 10 finalists, and spent a couple days ranking them. Also, at the end, I've got a controversial honorable mention because it was really hard to decide if it counted. So, here are my top 10 most powerful objects.
This weapon is more powerful than all of them combined.
Welcome to Sunnydale.
If you clicked on this video,
What you're after.
Buffybot.
Slayer's a robot. Did everybody else know the Slayer was a robot?
You know, on YouTube, the most powerful thing you can do is actually hit
The front. Moisten the front.
Coming in at the number 10 spot is the Amulet of Balthazar. The Amulet of Balthazar was the source of the demon's great power. Balthazar traveled to Sunnydale over 100 years ago and battled Richard Wilkins for control of the town. Ultimately, he was defeated and had his amulet taken from him, but in 1999, Buffy Summers got possession of the amulet and ultimately gave it to Angel for safekeeping. The amulet comes in at the number 10 spot because we honestly don't know what its exact powers were. What we do know is that even without his amulet, Balthazar has some sort of telekinesis, and he would be much stronger had he had it.
10, maybe 12 bad guys and one big demon in desperate need of a Stairmaster.
Up next, at number 9, we have Sweet's Talisman. In 2001, Xander uses a spell and a talisman to summon the demon Sweet. It's able to force people into song and dance, talking about their current situations, but also their fears and secrets. If allowed to go on too long, the people will eventually combust. It's ranked at the number 9 spot because although it causes wide-scale chaos, it is localized to just one town and not a worldwide event. The effects of the talisman end when he realized it was Xander who summoned him and not Dawn, and he chooses to leave, not wanting to take Xander to be his queen.
But I think we'll waive that clause just this once.
At the number 8 spot, we have the Dagon Sphere. The Dagon Sphere was a mystical object created to repel that which cannot be named. A small yellow glowing orb, the protective device had a history going back many centuries and was mainly used to ward off ancient primordial evil.
It was you who planted the Dagon Sphere, right?
Buffybot, that's me, uses it in the fight against Glory, and it's one of the few objects that has any effects on the god. While impressive, it's ranked here because although it has the power to slow Glory down a bit, she's ultimately able to take it and crush it with just one hand. Number 7, we have the Spear of the Future. The Spear of the Future is a magical spear that can be used to show false visions of the future, allowing the victim to make real-world decisions from those fake visions. In the episode Hell's Bells, Stuart Burns, former human, current demon, used the spear to show Xander a false future if he marries Anya.
If I hadn't married you, I wouldn't have had to hate myself.
Stuart was seeking revenge because Anya turned him into a demon and sent him to a hell dimension where he was tortured. Although Stuart was ultimately defeated, it was still not enough to stop Xander from leaving Anya at the altar.
Over now, he's dead. Let's get married.
I'm not.
It's ranked in the number 7 spot because although the visions are false, they're powerful enough to still make people make real-world decisions based on those false visions. Number 6 is the Book of Darkest Magic. This spell book was kept in an off-limits area of the magic box. It contained a powerful collection of forbidden spells. As far as we know, it allows its user to perform reality-altering magic. When Willow decides to confront Glory, she sought out the book, and thanks to the book, she was able to harm Glory, although not to a real or lasting effect. It ranks here on my list because it does appear to have limitless potential, but relies heavily on the user's ability. As far as we know, the book continues to exist up until this day. Well, we're halfway through the list, and the objects are becoming more interesting and powerful. At number 5 is the symbol of Anyanka. It was the green jeweled pendant worn by Anya Jenkins during her time as a vengeance demon. As with all vengeance demon pendants, it was the source of her demonic power given to her by D'Hoffryn. The pendant allows Anyanka the power to grant wishes fueled by vengeance. It's so powerful that it can alter reality itself. We saw that in the episode The Wish, where Cordelia wishes that Buffy never came to Sunnydale.
I wish Buffy Summers had never come to Sunnydale.
Ultimately, Giles destroyed the pendant, stripping Anya of her powers. Later, after Xander left her at the altar, she was granted a new symbol whose design was similar to that of her friend and fellow vengeance demon, Halfric. The symbol was also rendered powerless after asking D'Hoffryn to reverse her wish at the cost of her friend Halfric's life.
There will be no touching of the pendant.
At number 4, we have the Gem of Amara. The Gem of Amara was the magical ring that granted the vampire wearing it complete invulnerability to all their usual weaknesses. In 1999, Spike returned to Sunnydale and assembled a group of vampires to search for the gem. After several excavations, he uncovered a tomb filled with treasure. Harmony, Spike's girlfriend, tried on the ring while he searched through the jewelry. Frustrated by Harmony's chatter, Spike staked her, but the wound on her chest immediately regenerated. He didn't realize that he had found it. It's ranked here because it's powerful enough to break the fundamental rules of vampires. As powerful as it is, it only affects one individual, so it's not higher on the list. Spike attacks Buffy during daylight and she manages to take the ring from him. She sends it to Los Angeles and lots of adventures happen, but as I've stated before, I've never watched Angel, so until I do, I'm not going to discuss what happens on it, but ultimately Angel destroys the gem.
But as soon as we have the Gem of Amara, you're gonna be so
At number 3, we have the Urn of Osiris. The Urn of Osiris was an item named after Osiris using resurrection spells. Anya found the last known Urn of Osiris in an eBay auction and acquired it from a desert gnome in Cairo. Willow used the urn to ultimately bring Buffy back from the dead. Before the last known urn was destroyed by a demon biker gang. It's ranked here because it breaks fundamental rules of order, and that's bringing back the dead. And it actually works. Later on in the series, Willow doesn't even need it to connect with Osiris, but that's a topic for another video.
There has to be a way.
It is done!
At number 2, we have the Champion's Amulet. An amulet meant to be worn by a champion and a powerful, mystical artifact with purifying powers.
Purifying power, cleansing power, possibly scrubbing bubbles.
Angel brought it to Buffy before her final battle. He explained it bestowed strength when worn by someone in-souled but stronger than human, a champion. In this instance, Spike. The amulet channeled powerful beams of sunlight through his soul, quickly dusting the Uber Vamps and sealing the Hellmouth. It's ranked number 2 for its incredible destructive powers and ability to do something none of the heroes could have done. It ultimately ends up back in Los Angeles. Before we get to the number 1 spot, our honorable mention goes to Dawn Summers, the Key. I hesitated putting Dawn on this list because although she is a mystical object, she is also in human form. The Key was a mystical energy with the power to unlock the gates between dimensions. Under the threat of glory, the Key assumed the human form of Dawn Summers. The Key is almost as old as Gloria herself and was able to open up dimensional barriers which could then allow those dimensions to bleed together. This type of power could cause serious damage. Dawn also got other powers, but that's also for another video. Again, I'm not ranking Dawn, but she, the Key, obviously is a powerful object in the series. And finally, in our number 1 spot, we have or at least that's how I think it's pronounced, more commonly referred to as the Slayer Scythe. A very long time ago, a group of powerful mystic women who called themselves the Guardians secretly forged the scythe for the first Slayer to kill the last of the old ones that walked upon the earth.
You pulled it out of the rock. I was one of those who put it in there.
The scythe is nearly unbreakable, the axe end is made of silver, and the other carved into a stake. It enhances Slayer's strength, acts as a stake, and can channel magic. The power of the weapon is said to rival that of the Witchblade or Excalibur. It's ranked at number 1 because not only does it enhance the Slayer, but Willow was able to use it to change the rules of the entire Slayer line. Willow uses the scythe to activate every potential Slayer in the world, completely changing the world.
You are a goddess, and you're a slayer.
After Buffy the TV series ends, the scythe is destroyed, but is then again restored. Obviously, I wasn't able to include every mythical object on this list, but let me know in the comments your favorite object from the show, and if you enjoyed this list, then I think you'll like this video on screen now about 4 times Buffy was dead wrong.
Hi, I'm an enormous slut. Talking about 2 very powerful witches and a 1,000-year-old ex-demon.
Willow's a demon?
It is a sham, but it's a sham with yams. It's a yam sham